we can talk about the last NBA topic. Our dynasty's dead. There's been a lot of talk about this because we are naming our seventh new NBA champion in 7 years, which has never been done before. Since 1996. Nope, that's not cutting that. What is this? This is 1 hour and 14 minutes. Hold on. I was about to say the wrong stat. They were not fucking live. Boom. Yeah, my thoughts is our dynasty's dead. I think that I don't think we'll ever see a dynasty in the way that we know it again. I think the Thunder win the title this year. I would bet anything that they don't win it next year. I don't think that the Thunder will be a dynasty. I think that teams are just too good, and I think players are just too good. I think if we look back at 4 of the last 5 champions, there was dynasty talk for every single one of them. You talk about the 2020 Lakers. That was the first year LeBron and AD came together. There were 1,000% people like, hey, maybe LeBron and AD are about to just go on this run. And then they got packed and haven't made it back to the final since. The 2021 Bucks, Giannis, 50-point closeout game, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. There was talk about who's going to stop this team. Giannis is entering his prime. They haven't made it back to the conference finals. I think everyone kind of knew the 2022 Warriors were like a one-off, so I won't count them. The 2023 Nuggets, 1,000% people were like, that's a dynasty. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown. Oh my God, Jokic is the best player in the world. KCP haven't made it back to the conference finals. And even last year, the 2024 Celtics, I myself thought they were a dynasty. The incredibly built team. Tatum, Brown, Kristaps, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and yet they got bounced in the second round. And even before Jason Tatum got hurt, they were down. They were about to be down 3-1 to the Knicks, and now Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. So, like, I just think that dynasties are kind of dead in the NBA. I don't think we're going to see one. I think the Thunder are going to win the chip this year, and then next year we're going to come back to this video, and the Thunder will not be in the finals. I just think that that's not what the NBA is seeing nowadays. I think we're in a different level of parity. Players are too good, teams are too good. If the Thunder win the chip next year, then I'll look stupid, but like I'm cool with that. I'm betting that we're seeing an 8th different champion next year. But what do you think?
I don't think dynasties are dead. I think teams have to figure out how they are going to create their next dynasty. So, like, we know dynasties as being, at least in the modern NBA, being a big 3 or really good 2, most of the times a big 3. And then we came to find out that big 3s just really don't work anymore, partially because teams are deeper, teams are better, players are better in general. But I do think if anyone does it, it's going to be one of these teams that build their teams through the draft. Like, I think about the dynasties that happened way before our time in the 80s, early 90s. All of those teams were built through the draft. Like, the Showtime Lakers were built through the draft and a little bit through free agency because they traded for Kareem or signed Kareem. The Celtics absolutely were built through the draft. The Pistons were built through the draft. The Bulls were built through the draft. The Spurs, I think about the 2000 Spurs. And to be fair, you don't have to win back-to-back titles to be considered a dynasty. Say you win
you don't? I think you do.
No, I don't think you do. If you win, it's about how much you win in a span. So if you, in a 10-year span, you win 4 titles and none of them are back-to-back, but you keep that same core, that's still a dynasty.
I think 4 titles.
Because
I think you got to get a back-to-back to be considered a dynasty. I do. Well, I think even if you win,
the best example of that to me is the Spurs. Like, the Spurs won in '99, right? Then they did go. They did go back. Well, did they go back to back? They went to the finals in back-to-back years. I think they went to the finals twice in 3 years. So they won in '99. Then they went in 03.
No,
they never went back-to-back. So they won in 03. They lost to the Lakers in 04. Then they won in 05. Then they won in 07. And then they reiterated that dynasty through Kawhi because Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker were still on there. And they went to the finals in 2013 and won in 2014. And that's a span of, 15 years And they
won
won
3 in 5
titles.
years. Yeah, they won 3 in 5 years, and then they got the 2014 chip.
Well, they won 4. They won 4 in 8 years, bro. Like if you win 4 titles in 8 years,
yeah, I guess you do have to consider the Spurs.
So they won 99, 03, 05, 07. They won three titles, like you said, in the span of 4 or 5 years. That's a dynasty to me. If the Thunder come out next year and they don't win the chip, and then they come out in 2020, what year is it? 2027 and win a chip, and then maybe they don't go back to back and they win in 2029, 3 chips in 5 years. It doesn't matter how it looks, because at the end of the day, you dominated that short span era of whatever it is. I think the
Spurs break the mold for me, because
most people don't realize that. Like you don't really need to go back to back. Granted, all of the dynasties outside of the Spurs that we've seen have gone back to back. The Celtics went back to back in the 80s. Lakers did it in the 80s. The Bulls had 2 3-peats. The bad boy Pistons went back to back. Kobe and Shaq Lakers 3-peat. Kobe and Powell and all of them back to back. Bron and D Wade back to back. So I get it. The Warriors with KD and Steph back to back. So it makes sense, but the NBA is not the same. We're almost 10 years removed from that big 3 dynasty, and the last team to kind of try to do it, and it almost worked, was the Brooklyn Nets, but they just couldn't stay healthy. They had the talent. They just couldn't all stay on the court at the same time.
I think the Spurs 1,000% break the mold. Even in when we take into account like NFL, like the Chiefs, they got their back-to-back. The Pats got their back-to-back. That's really the only couple of dynasties we see, to be honest. The Broncos got their back-to-back. It's like the Niners got a back-to-back.
Like the mid 2000 Steelers.
The Steelers
Didn't they win like 3
They won in 09 and they won in 06. So
it's made it okay. So they won in 06 and they won in 09, but they went back to the Super Bowl in 2010.
Yeah, they went back to Super Bowl and lost to y'all.
Yeah. So it's a conversation. Like it's not, but it's that's the type of thing where like if you do that twice, win 2 in 3 years, make the Super Bowl or the championship, and take like a year break and do the same thing again, that's a dynasty to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be back to back.
You need the same core.
You have to keep the same, or you have to at least have the same best player.
Yep, you got to at least have the same best player.
Yeah, like it shouldn't be like the Thunder shouldn't have Shea as their best player if they win the chip this year, and then in 3 years their best player is Jason Tatum and Shea is gone. Like that doesn't count.
No, nope.